Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome to today's webinar. Accordant has partnered with Arcoro to bring you streamlined workforce management for the construction industry. Our subject matter experts today are Brent Sheik and Mackenzie Keefe from Arcoro. Just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. Everyone is muted, so if you do have questions, please type them into the questions box and we will address them at the end of the session. This webinar will be recorded and we will email out a copy to everyone later today. I will now turn it over to you, Brent.
Thank you, Kristen. Good morning, everybody. Happy to be here. Again, my name is Brent Sheik. I'm an Alliance Manager here at Arcoro. We also have Mackenzie Keefe on the line. Mackenzie, would you like to do a quick introduction?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Mackenzie Keefe, and I am the Solutions Consultant here on the presentation today, also from Arcoro. I'm looking forward to doing a quick demonstration here today, so nice to be here.
Thank you, Mackenzie. All right. So before we do jump into the demo today, we do have a few things we want to go over. So today we'll go over about Arcoro, who we are, what we do, where we came from. We'll look at the solutions to the top industry workforce challenges in HR. We'll talk a little bit about our WOTC program. Mackenzie will provide us with a great product demo, and then we'll talk about next steps. So Arcoro, we are the combined effort of two great companies that have a long and rich history in construction. One being Exact Time and Attendance, the other being Bird Dog HR. And really our expertise is around automating the HR and people processes for construction companies. Construction is our focus. That's actually how we got our start about 20 years ago with the AGC of America. And that's where we still are today. 7,000 construction clients. We're purely cloud, which means we're accessible anywhere via the web. And we are very integration focused and integration friendly. And I'll talk more about that a little later. Some of the big challenges that we see in HR in construction are also challenges that we help to solve every day. These challenges being, one, workforce management. How do we find qualified applicants? Once they're in our company, how do we establish goals, performance feedback, and continued skill development to engage and retain these employees? We have modules specifically around this. For compliance, this is all about proper reporting. Reporting around affirmative action and benefits, federal I-9 documentation, proper Affordable Care Act documentation, and then labor laws, federal, state, and local level, and OSHA reporting as well. A lot of reporting around compliance in our modules. And the last is the use of disparate systems. These systems are siloed. They require multiple points of data entry, which also involves paper processes, creates manual workarounds, and a really unstreamlined process. We can actually come in, hook systems together, talk to the systems, and create a more streamlined process for your company. We also have a great WOTC partner. WOTC is Work Opportunity Tax Credits. This is actually ingrained into our onboarding module. And employees that are used for WOTC, you actually get money back for them. So this really does create an ROI for your company. And it's a free tool within our onboarding module as well. For our solutions, this is our full solution set. Everything from hiring, managing, and growing employees. For hiring, we have applicant tracking and onboarding. For managing employees, core HR, benefits management, ACA, and compliance reporting, time and attendance, and PTO functionality. For growing and retaining employees, we have performance management, learning management, and succession planning. Now, a few great things about the services here. We are 100% based in the cloud. We are construction focused, and we are modular in nature, meaning that you don't have to buy the full solution set to have one piece. So if your company only needs time and attendance, we could definitely do that. If you only need performance management, we can do that as well. What this allows you to do is piece together a solution that works best for you and your company. And last but not least, we're very integration focused and integration friendly. We've gone out and partnered with some of the biggest names in the construction world, such as your ERP systems, Sage 100 and Sage 300 CRE. We also integrate with Acumatica and Procore Construction Management as well. Last but not least, we can also integrate with almost any payroll provider underneath the sun. So very integration focused when it comes to our partnerships with our integration partners. And then we'll turn over to Mackenzie for system information and the web demo. Thank you, everybody.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Brent. And I think that there are a couple slides prior to me actually getting into the system. So Brent, if you could take us through those two, and then I'll jump over on my screen. Perfect. Okay, thank you. And the reason I start with these slides, everybody, is just to highlight the overview of our solution, since we don't have time to get to each module today. But for the kind of the tagline of our software, we are a full hire to retire solution. So you can piece together any piece of the HR kind of ecosystem and have it under one roof. And then on the next page, we can kind of talk about three main highlights about our software. So regardless of what module we're talking about or what piece of the software, there's going to be three main benefits in each one of these. The first is that, as we've talked about, it is configurable. So this is going to be so that no piece of our software looks the same, because no customer looks the same. So we're going to be able to switch certain things on or change certain things, all to be tailored for your environment. The second is that it's modular. So this means that we are, again, able to piece together certain pieces. A lot of our competitors don't offer this. It's mostly going to be an all size fits one solution. So we do differentiate in that way. And then we are industry specific. So when you are going through and looking at different systems, make sure that these three components do check off those boxes, because not every software solution is going to be for every industry. And with that, I'll go ahead and take over the controls and we'll get started in the software. All right. Now what we're looking at here is an HR homepage. So this is a good place to start out for demonstration, mostly because this can be tailored for your branding, for your company, and it's all going to be a consolidated task list for each person logging in. So that way we don't need to ask people to click too many places, even if you do have the entire hire to retire solution list all under the roof. But today we're going to focus on the recruiting and a little bit of the manage modules, starting off with applicant tracking. So how can we add efficiency to the way that you're adding talent to your company, filling those positions in a timely way? Now we are a permission-based system, so only a recruiter would likely have access to this page. Maybe a hiring manager has limited access, but you can determine what that looks like. And we'll start off with the general jobs homepage. I'm going to have all of my assigned jobs here with all the candidates underneath, so we'll take a look at that. But I've also got a couple other components along the main menu of the ATS. The candidate pool is really effective. This ensures that you have a talent pool to go back to with candidates that have applied in the past, or that maybe you've caught resumes out there outside the database and want to capture them here. This becomes searchable so that you don't waste any previous time or energy recruiting previous folks that just fell off your radar. We're going to capture those folks, and you can go ahead and search by location, maybe even by label. So outreach is going to be extremely easy moving forward. And then of course, we've got all of the reports that you would need to tell you how your hiring process is going. We've got time to hire reports, compliance reports. So right from off the bat here, you're just going to give us a time range, and then we'll be able to produce those compliance reports for affirmative action. So this takes a lot of manual work off your plate. And we do provide the visuals and the ability to edit reports like you would in Excel right from the view here. So very robust reporting, and that goes across all of our modules. All right, but let's go back to talking about recruiting. So the first thing that we would want to talk about is posting jobs. Now we have a list of your templates pre-saved for all of your positions. And then you're able to come to either the create requisition button here, if you wanted to make it a little bit more advanced, maybe capture approval, or we can just make it simple and post the job directly. So I'm going to choose to pull from one of my templates just to make this easy. And this is going to be pre-saved. I could have multiple languages there to prevent any language barriers or any friction for applicants as they apply. And I just picked a general finance role here, but this is going to be around whatever position you're posting, maybe internal notes, and all of the required position fields. You don't need to worry about manually responding to candidates. You can have all of those messages generated from the system, go out via email. And then I'm going to go ahead and assign some internal recruiters so that we have candidates that are applying and we're being updated about that. Now we can also make sure that any candidate that applies has a certain set of requirements. And if they don't, we can get them out of our way, manually let them know that they're not moving forward with a disposition. So these are all going to be position focused. You can confirm with knockout questions that people do have certain qualifications. Again, disposition them if they don't. So really saving a lot of time, only focusing on the qualified candidates. And that definitely comes into play with the number of candidates you will be receiving with the uptick in job boards here. So this is a pretty exciting and competitive part of our software. You'll never have to leave this system, but we will be posting not only to your company's career page or your website, but to hundreds of different job boards. A lot of those would be completely free, and you can read more about those here. But then we expand into hundreds more just with your credentials. You can purchase additional ads or anything else from our software as well. So bringing a lot of convenience to the recruiting process, posting to social, and even notifying anyone that you have in your referral network, whether that's internal employees or other organizations. Again, we can configure those in here. And of course, with those reports, we can tell you where candidates are coming from so that those channels are really becoming more strategic over time, what's working best. Now, candidates have a very easy time applying. They're going to go through those screening and scoring questions, again, that you've listed up front. And they'll never have to create a username or password or verify an email address. It's just the questions that you've put in your application. We're showcasing the qualified candidates. Those will come through as active. And inactive, we'll go ahead and have those people that have been disqualified, but they've already been back in touch with as well. So the system's handled that for you. Now we're going to look at John Avella here, since he's my top ranking candidate. The system's kind of went through a scorecard process for me. And now I can look a little bit deeper, whether I want to pull his entire resume or just jump directly to the piece of that resume I'm interested in. So just cutting down the time spent. Maybe we came over to the action item list over here and actually generated an interview. So I would have that information here. Same thing with background checks, drug screens. We do have partners for those. So really integrating the full recruiting process, however that looks for you. And we have your stages and dispositions to mark your milestones along the way. So John was originally an offer. I can have final interviews, send him an email about that upcoming offer, whatever milestones, again, that you'd want to automate. And then I can even generate that offer letter and have John sign it digitally if he does accept. So all of that can be generated from here, a lot less clicks. You've got your email templates all across the recruiting process, including for this offer letter. And then we're connecting all of the dots outside of the offer letter as well. So not only the document that they're going to sign, but also the onboarding manager that's maybe going to take over the next step of the onboarding process once we get that packet out to Jonathan. So connecting a lot of different pieces, and it's all workflow based here. And then I can, of course, put the response team in play. So as soon as Jonathan signs this offer letter, we're prepared for the next steps. I can even get approval on that offer before it gets sent to Jonathan. So really handling most of the recruiting process here. Here's an example of that offer letter. And all of this is mobile friendly, as you'll probably see here with Stephanie's signature. That looks like she signed that from her iPhone or maybe from a tablet. So all of our system is going to be mobile friendly, including the onboarding packet that we send Jonathan, who is initially our example, following this process. So not only can we automate the entire recruiting process, we can capture all of that data and get it going for his onboarding packet. Now, I'm going to open up two different sides of our onboarding module. So we have transitioned, just for clarity's sake, from the applicant tracking system to onboarding. And again, these are all modular pieces, so you can piece them together or purchase them separately based on what you need. And for onboarding, a lot of our customers will ask first and foremost, well, we have multiple different sets of our onboarding packet. How can you digitize that? So I'm just showing this page here to show which onboarding packet you'd want to assign to this employee. And there's two different ways you can get this out to them. If you have the runway, you can easily send them an email, or the system could send them that email on your queue that gives them a username, password, and an online experience to complete their onboarding packet ahead of time so that you can get them straight to work as they arrive. The other is just the kiosk onboarding mode. So that would just allow you to click whichever onboarding template you'd like, hand them the tablet that first day, and then you can just start the process from there. So easy either which way. Now I'm going to go ahead and log into an onboarding portal. And the first thing that they'll see as they go in to fill out their onboarding paperwork is the welcome page that you've built around your brand. So this is a great chance to welcome them to the company, maybe put a video there or some additional documents that they would want to have on hand. So this is a configurable web page. Now they have one simple invitation to click on to go to their paperwork. Oh, and it's going to make me log in again there. So you can see this is a very user-friendly experience. It's all mobile friendly as well. So to be able to complete your onboarding packet online or from your phone is pretty nice. And we will be sending them email reminders to get this done before that required timeline. So everything from personal information, contact info, anything that you would require, we can add fields for, including an additional information page, which is really all about your company. You have up to 30 fields to configure whatever information you want to put on their profile. Now, this voluntary survey could be asked in the application process. So again, that's how we're reporting on affirmative action. But it could also be listed here for compliance purposes and for EEO in the onboarding packet. And just like Brent said in his presentation, all the documents, including that voluntary survey, the I-9s, W-4s, we're going to be updating those as the government does. You never have to worry about document updating. That's all going to be on us. And then we're going to catch somebody if they try to submit a document without a required field. So you can ensure that any packet that gets returned to you, we're just going to notify you of that return via email, has all the required information. You can feel confident about that. We're also eliminating a lot of data reentry for the new hire as well. So if they give us their first and last name the first time, that's the last time they'll ever have to type that in. We're going to re-autofill into every other field. So that does take a lot of time without that feature. And then they'll move into their payroll setup. So whether you're using our payroll or not, we can present a user-friendly way for the new hire to put that data into the system for you. You can approve it if that's part of your process, and then we'll go ahead and send it through. Now this just speaks to the work opportunity tax credit connection that we do have. So just a simple survey would go ahead and qualify you to have our partner go in and do that search on your behalf. return those funds for you. Now, as they go in to sign policies, this is a reminder that these are all not only configured for your policies, but they can be different for different employees. So you can create a very different onboarding packet experience if needed for separate parts of your organization. We'll wrap up with some additional forms around your company's needs only, but they can plug in a little bit more detailed information here. Go ahead and sign off. And it's all click to sign. So no need to partner with a DocuSign or an Adobe Sign or anything like that. It's all inherent in our system. We'll time and date stamp all of this and return it to you, storing it all in the electronic filing cabinet where each employee has a folder. And that really completes their process for onboarding. There is a workflow on the back end that would invite the manager to go in, complete section 2 of the I-9, and then possibly even connect it to our E-Verify connection. So with a press of a button, we can do that search for you. We've got connection to that E-Verify database, and we'll just alert you if there's any issues or discrepancies from what you inputted on their information. Now from here, onboarding is a pretty simple module, very much by design. So moving forward, they would be invited, they being the employee, to their employee HR self-service dashboard. So from here, this is what we would kind of call their home base for everything HR moving forward. So I'm going to go ahead and open up an example of an employee homepage. And these are a configurable setup. So you can remove things from this, potentially add things linked to this page. But the idea is to give the employee a home. They can bookmark this, access it from mobile, where they don't have to think too much. Everything HR is going to be in one of the widgets on this page. Now for a quick tour, this is the company info, obviously, section, which you would brand for yourselves, add in maybe a HR point of contact, whatever you would need to plug in there. Time and attendance, this is just one of the options that we have for time and attendance. Simple software, clock in, clock out. They can do this from their phone, but this is just one of a multitude of ways we could collect time. We could do it via digital timesheets. We could do it with a GPS app location, so we can actually detect where the employee is and notify you if they're outside the project zone. So that takes a little bit of discovery. Of course, we can always turn the time system off completely and plug right into your current time system. Some people are already comfortable with theirs, so we can just eliminate this piece completely. Announcements, and then we would get into the time off portal. So before we talk about benefits, let's quickly touch on time off. I know this is a critical piece, especially with the pandemic going on and different laws going into place about what you need to offer. So all of that can be tracked very easily through our time off bank. Let me get reset there. Now, for the employee, they're only going to be able to take time off for what they've accrued against your rules. So initially, I'll be able to see, okay, I have accrued 140 hours, but I don't have any upcoming days off. Let's go ahead and schedule something, or at least request something from my manager. So this is the employee self-service time off bank. They're going to be able to see all the types of time off that you've built into your system. So these are just some examples. And then the types of time off will have those automatic accrual rates tied in the background. So against those rules, per pay period, we can go ahead and assign that time off. You don't have to remember to do that. They'll be able to see what they've earned and then go ahead and make a request, which is actually going to notify their manager. Now, what if I want to take, Friday the 30th off? Oh, wait, before I do that, let's make sure that no one else on my team has that day off. This is a small team that I have here. So I can easily go in and have a calendar, which really helps my manager out. So it's nice that I can either pull from a different week or maybe an entire month. So there's the time I'd like to see. And it looks like I'm in the clear. No one else is off that day. So I can go ahead and submit that request. Or maybe I would just want to take a half day. I could easily do that. And then I would choose from the type of time off that I would want. Now, again, you can decide the flexibility of the system. If I had chosen holiday time off, that's not something I have earned yet. So the system is going to let me know I've got an insufficient balance, protecting you from having to review time off that goes against your rules. But I do have some PTO time off. So I'll go ahead and just plug that in. Hopefully my manager allows me to leave early for that holiday event, but they're going to be notified. So what's great about that is that my manager, and I happen to be logged in as one, so I can pretend that that was my request, but I myself have a request I can look at too. So to show you how quick and easy the approval process would be, and again, all accessible from your mobile device, so nice to do on the fly. I can see that I've got a current request to review here. I've got my calendar, so again, I can review this from the overall team perspective. And then I'd be able to submit that request back to that employee, whatever I decide to do. But they will get a notification, so they don't need to keep checking back here. All PTO requests are coming in and out. And we'll go ahead and talk about some PTO reporting on the back end once I get to the administrative level, because there are some great reports that you can see across the whole company. Let's go ahead and talk about benefits, because I know that this is a big headache if you haven't had some sort of automation in place. And we are a great benefits engine. So moving over to change events here, I can see that open enrollment is my assigned event. I probably got a notification via email that invited me to come in here. But we'll start from this just to give the overview, especially because I want to point out that change events can be any sort of data change that you want to give employees access to from their self-service portal. So we can even go as far as connecting to your payroll system so they can add a new direct deposit next time they get paid. We can transfer that data over. And we've got all of the sophisticated abilities to double check, they plug in an account or routing number that doesn't match an actual bank, we'll go ahead and give them an error. So we can cross-reference that data. Same thing with different tax withholdings or benefits changes throughout the years, even something as simple as changing their address. So a lot of HR data entry work can be taken off of the radar with change events. But I'm going to go ahead and begin open enrollment. And this is all going to be based around your enrollment process. So it could look very different. Most of the time, there will be this concrete set of instructions just to walk people through how to walk through the event itself. And I'm going to be pleasantly surprised because everything that I've already plugged in through onboarding is already here. So I can go ahead and skip through a lot of the redundant work here and just go straight to what you need for my benefits election. Now, let's just say I'm a single employee. I don't have to account for any dependents. I can just go straight to my benefits. And the plans that are shown are going to match my dependents automatically. So I don't risk the mistake of picking a family plan or getting confused. It's all going to be around what matches my dependents. So it's very intuitive. And then it will host any content that your company wants to plug in here. So very customizable around your benefits plan. Those will be listed down the left-hand side, and you're definitely able to create different versions of benefits plans if you have, part-time employees versus full-time employees. So it's not just one benefits plan. You can go ahead and tie those to specific employees. Now they're going to enroll online here, finish going through whatever benefits you have, whether it's voluntary benefits or 401k, we can collect all of that. We're also able to generate benefit statements so that they can pull those right from their back pocket, as well as, in most cases, connect to the benefit providers. So we can transmit that data to your insurance carriers. Maybe there's a delay period in between, when that goes active and when they enroll, we can go ahead and schedule that. So we're not only presenting the employee with a better experience, but it's a lot easier of communicating the data outwards to your 401k vendors, medical insurance, dental insurance, anyone that you have listed. Now we've also got the benefits cost card. So right from their portal, per pay period, they can see, okay, what is coming out of my paycheck and going towards coverage. And that's always helpful so that when open enrollment does open up again, or anytime they are eligible, they can go ahead and make that change from their event list. Now pay data is pretty self-explanatory. This is where we would pull the data in from your payroll system and showcase the pay stubs here, just so employees, again, have less systems to log into. Everything's in one place. Workflows really cover a lot as well. These are just secondary task lists or processes that need to happen, but we can wrap those around the self-service process here and make it a little bit more accessible for each employee that's involved. So maybe it's just an individual employee that every time they start or every time I hire a new position, I know they're going to need a badge. So I'm going to auto assign this task list every time I collect a new employee in that position. And this really eliminates a lot of the Excel task lists or even sticky notes on computers for HR when you hire a new employee, or even if someone's has been terminated or is electively leaving the company. You can build offboarding workflows just to make sure that those task lists are happening on a more automated basis. And of course, you can go in at any time and see who's completed certain workflows and who still has some ways to go. Now remember, there's always ways that we can configure this so that this really just becomes a hub for the employee. So we can link different things in here. So this is in no way, shape, or form, the only way our software can be presented, but this should be a good overview for the employee experience. And now I'm going to finish up here on the administrative side. So while the employee has very easy access and simple ways to updating their own data, the administrator has a control panel and really feels that they have an easy way to access all the company info that they need. So this is the home page for the administrator. Their dashboard would have all of the housekeeping components as far as alerts. We're constantly monitoring the system, making sure that nothing funky is going on. If it does, we'll address them with an alert. Workflows can, of course, be built and monitored here. We are a full ACA reporting company, so we can alert you when certain employees have reached that required coverage level and make it automated for you to offer that coverage and report on the documents that you need back to the government to prove that you did so. Simple things like birthdays, employee anniversaries. It's nice that we just serve up that information since we have the data. New hires that need processing, or maybe even terminations, again, with those offboarding workflows. And one of my favorite views in the entire system is the employee profile page for the administrator. So if you think about how many different places employee information is located without something like this, it can take up a lot of time and things really can fall through the cracks. So from here, you can go in and pull essentially any piece of information on that employee that you have permission to see. Again, this is all permission-based, regardless of what that information is. We've got surveys that you can get into, or even just reviewing their benefits before that we push those over to the carrier. So all of that should be pretty turnkey from this page. Even the ability to impersonate that employee and see what they see. So this helps as you're helping them get to know their portal rather than having to schedule a lot of phone calls. A lot of times this can just be a simple back and forth with that view. And just like each of our modules, there's some excellent reports that we can look at. First and foremost, within benefit management, you can go in and see participation summaries. We can also partner with, virtually any broker. If they want to access this information, we can get them that own separate login. And then the time and attendance reports really put the time off tracking into perspective. So for all PTO accruals and information, that would be built here. And there is a full report list. So you can see transactions of what's happening with vacation time by manager. You can separate this for COVID-related time off if that's necessary, since those reports are kind of becoming more prevalent. And then the dashboard is really effective as well. So you can see average time off just kind of from a full picture perspective. And of course, the calendar across the whole company, it's important to see who's going to be off when. But these reports really get into any other piece of the system that you'd be interested in. I'll show and kind of finish things up here, Brent, before I pass things up to you, the open enrollment completion report. So any event that's assigned, whether it's a new policy that people need to assign or to sign, or just open enrollment statuses. You're able to pull the status of that at any given time, as well as email each participant that falls into each category. So a little bit of extra HR diligence there. And I guess I'll close things out just by thanking again everyone for their time, and just kind of teasing that we have quite a few HR modules that we of course did not get to today. So looking forward to any follow-up questions or conversations that come from this presentation.
All right, we have a question in the queue here. The question is, you said you were commission-based. Please elaborate at some point.
Sure. So permission-based for us means that you're able to create different roles within our system around what roles you have at your company. So it's not just, okay, administrators see this, managers see this, and employees see this. You're able to pick and choose what that actually means for each role. So you can hide different pieces of information however you need to. Hope that helps. That's essentially what we mean by permission-based.
Okay, and the next question is, what is the pricing?
Yeah, I can handle that for everybody here. So the pricing will differ on which modules that you choose and also the amount of employees at the company. So whoever had that question, it'd be great to connect with you. I have my information here, and I can also send out a quick message to everybody that joined the webinar today to make sure everybody has my information. But yeah, we could definitely get an idea of what modules you're looking at, how many employees are at your company, and then we can go from there.
Okay, great. That looks like that's all the questions. So thank you both for the presentation today, and thank you everyone for attending. We will be emailing out the recording to everyone later today and following up. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out and we'll be in touch soon. Stay safe and healthy, everyone. Have a great day. Thank you.